Hollywood is full of wild, almost castings that could have completely changed movie history. From Lindsay Lohan missing The Hangover to Johnny Depp passing on Ferris Bueller, today we're diving into shocking roles your favorite stars almost played. And trust me, some of these will blow your mind. Julia Roberts was almost Viola in Shakespeare in Love, until it all fell apart. Back in the 90s, Roberts was the star attached to get the film made, but behind the scenes, things went sideways. She only wanted Daniel Day-Lewis as Shakespeare, and when he passed, every chemistry read with other actors fizzled. Add to that a British accent she struggled to master, and producers started to lose confidence. Feeling judged and insecure, Roberts quietly checked out of her hotel, boarded a plane, and never returned to set. The role then went to Gwyneth Paltrow, who won an Oscar, but the story could have been very different. Lindsay Lohan didn't turn down The Hangover. She was just too young. Back in 2009, Lohan was only 20 when director Todd Phillips considered her for the role of Jade, the stripper who ends up marrying Ed Helms' character. Lohan actually loved the script, but Phillips admitted the part required someone older and more seasoned. The role went to Heather Graham, nearly twice Lohan's age, and The Hangover became a comedy classic. Fans often assume Lohan passed on it, but the truth is, she never said no. Hollywood just wasn't ready to cast her in that kind of role yet. Johnny Depp almost skipped school as Ferris Bueller. Before Matthew Broderick cemented himself as the cheeky teen who outsmarted principals and parents alike, the role was actually offered to Depp. At the time, Depp was still climbing Hollywood's ladder after A Nightmare on Elm Street, and the Ferris part could have been a career-defining breakthrough. But a packed schedule forced him to decline, leaving the door wide open for Broderick. The result? Ferris Bueller's Day Off became a box office smash and a cultural classic. Depp went on to find his own iconic roles, but Ferris, that was always meant for Broderick. John Travolta could have been Forrest Gump. Before Tom Hanks made Life is Like a Box of Chocolates, a legendary line, the role was first offered to Travolta, but he turned it down, choosing instead to star in Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction. Both films hit theaters in 1994 and went head-to-head at the Oscars, with Hanks winning Best Actor and Forrest Gump taking Best Picture. Travolta, he earned his own Best Actor nomination for Vincent Vega. Looking back, he says he doesn't regret it, because while Hanks got Gump, Travolta got Tarantino, and both roles defined the decade in very different ways. Al Pacino could have been Han Solo. Before Harrison Ford became the galaxy's favorite smuggler, Pacino was offered the role in Star Wars. The producers dangled a fortune in front of him, but Pacino turned it down for one simple reason: he didn't get the script. Coming straight off Broadway and leaning into serious roles, the space opera just felt too strange. Pacino even joked later that he must have been out of space himself for not understanding it. That decision ended up launching Ford's career, while Pacino stuck to gritty dramas like The Godfather. Anne Hathaway was almost Tiffani in Silver Linings Playbook. Before Jennifer Lawrence won her Oscar for the role, Hathaway had been cast as the lead opposite Mark Wahlberg. But behind the scenes, she and director David O. Russell clashed creatively. Hathaway eventually stepped away, leaving producers scrambling to fill the part. Enter Lawrence, a then-rising star who walked into auditions and completely reshaped the movie. Her quirky, fiery take on Tiffani not only won her the Best Actress Oscar, but also turned Silver Linings Playbook into a modern classic. Hathaway didn't lose out, though. That same year, she took home her own Oscar for Les Miserables. Miles Teller was almost the leading man in La La Land. After his breakout role in Whiplash, director Damien Chazelle wanted Teller for the musical's male lead. Teller even stayed loyal when the project was on shaky ground, turning down other directors to remain attached. But then came the twist. His agent told him he was no longer creatively right for the part. Rumors swirled that he turned down millions, but Teller insists that's false. He never would have walked away from a role he wanted. Eventually, Ryan Gosling stepped in, and the rest is history. Still, Teller says he'll go to his grave knowing he stayed loyal to La La Land. Emma Watson was nearly the star of La La Land. Before Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling turned the film into Oscar gold, Watson was in talks to play the lead role of Mia. But while rumors swirled that she was furious at missing out, Watson later explained the truth. She had already committed to Beauty and the Beast. Between horse training, singing lessons, and choreography rehearsals in London, there was no way she could split time with a project as demanding as La La Land. She didn't want to just parachute in, she wanted to give her full focus. In the end, scheduling made the decision for her. Henry Cavill was the perfect Edward Cullen, at least according to Twilight author Stephen E. Meyer. When the book was first picked up for a film, Meyer revealed she had Cavill in mind as her ideal Edward. The problem? He was already 24, and Edward was meant to be a high school teen. By the time casting began, Cavill had aged out, and Robert Pattinson stepped into the role that defined a generation. Cavill later admitted he didn't even know Meyer wanted him until after the movies were made, saying it would have been cool. Instead, he went on to find his own iconic roles, like Superman. Tiffani Thiessen almost became Rachel Green. Fresh off Saved by the Bell, Thiessen auditioned for Friends and tested for the role that would go to Jennifer Aniston. But at just 20 years old, casting directors felt she was too young to fit in with the rest of the group. Aniston, then 25, was already the youngest of the cast, so bringing in someone even younger would have thrown off the balance of the peer group vibe the show was building. Thiessen later said she held no resentment. In fact, she praised Aniston's performance and landed Beverly Hills 90210 soon after. Can you picture Olivia Pope without Kerry Washington? Believe it or not, Connie Britton was ABC's first choice for Scandal. When Shonda Rhimes pitched the show, the network's casting list was filled entirely with white actresses, and Britton was at the top. But Rhimes pushed back hard, insisting Olivia Pope be a black woman, inspired by real-life crisis manager Judy Smith. That decision not only gave us Kerry's unforgettable, it's handled energy, but also broke a 37-year drought of network dramas led by a black woman. Without Washington's casting, the door for characters like Annalise Keating in How to Get Away with Murder might have stayed shut. Can you picture Joey Tribbiani as Phil Dunphy? Matt LeBlanc almost made it happen. After Joey got canceled, the Modern Family script landed on his desk with an offer to play the goofy, lovable dad. Matt admitted it was a really good script, but he turned it down, saying he wasn't the right guy and it would have been an injustice if he took it. Thankfully, Ty Burrell won the role, and the rest is sitcom history. Funny enough, when the Modern Family cast later staged a salary standoff, Jesse Tyler Ferguson even called Matt for advice. His reply, "Stick together, you have power." Classic Joey wisdom. Molly Ringwald could have been the pretty woman. Before Julia Roberts turned the role into a career-defining performance, Ringwald was offered the part of Vivian, but she turned it down, admitting later that the story didn't sit right with her. She felt there was something icky about it. At the time, the film was still titled $3,000, and Ringwald didn't think much of the script. In hindsight, she said Roberts was the perfect choice anyway, because the role needed that once-in-a-lifetime spark. Roberts' take won her a Golden Globe and an Oscar nomination, while Ringwald stuck to roles that felt true to her. And there you have it, the roles that could have rewritten Hollywood history. Which one shocked you the most? Let me know in the comments below. And hey, if you love discovering these behind-the-scenes secrets, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our next deep dive into Hollywood's hidden stories.